I didn't want to watch the season of Love Island because of the amount of discourse that I have seen and the behavior that I've seen. It was probably around like 4 to 7 episodes, I think, before I was like, okay, I low-key need to watch this because I was a little concerned. I think Love Island mirrors this generation's habit within romantic relationships, as well as the villainization of black men, specifically dark-skinned black men. And being black in white spaces, being one of the only black people in a white space, can be extremely dangerous in multiple ways. It can be physically threatening, but also emotionally, mentally. So with Love Island, being black in white spaces can result in assimilation, villainization, perfectionism, people-pleasing, list goes on. You know, this season of Love Island has really shown to be black in a white society, you have to be perfect, you have to be calm 100% of the time, and you cannot make any mistake, because as soon as you make a big mistake, it's on you for the rest of your life. That's how you're labeled, that's how people around you who are labeled. So people who have watched Love Island and haven't really been thinking about outside of just being a reality show, please keep an open mind with me. Like, please stay with me, because the push against Casey shows a lot of internalized racism and systematic racism in America, as well as TT too, because Casey is very complex. I don't think that he's an angel. I don't think that he's an evil man like other people have been saying. I think he was really trying to navigate with another dark-skinned black woman who was in more privileged, comfortable lifestyle, probably around white people or in the suburbs, who also deals with insecurity and possibly internalized racism. I can't label her like that, but for sure insecurities, being a dark-skinned black woman, especially growing up in the suburbs, because you're often not people's type. You're often cute for a black girl or cute for a dark-skinned girl, and that takes a toll on you, of course. Her constant self-sabotaging and control over her and Casey's connection resulted in him coming back with somebody else after Casa Amor. And as much as that hurts, he did the best he needed for himself. Like, that's why he said, like, I'm not doing this for you, I'm doing this for me, because over and over and over again, he was getting more and more frustrated, which caused more resentment. And you don't want to live with that kind of resentment. That's just going to hurt way more in the end. And I think if it did get to that point, I think it would have been much worse. But from what we've seen, it really wasn't that bad. But the amount of criticism and hate that he's been receiving is unproportionate. Why are we not directing that same kind of criticism towards Sincere or Kenzie even? Like, it's not even far-fetched to say if the roles were reversed, because they are. Sincere is 100 times worse than Casey. Every sort of behavior pattern that he has shown is a lot more damaging and deserves much more criticism than what Casey is receiving. And you know, he is Hispanic. He's darker than Corbin, but he's definitely lighter than Casey and has the privilege of being a little bit more racially ambiguous. You can't really 100% tell if he is of African descent or not from first glance. Kenzie as well. Kenzie is a blonde white woman who also is just like Sincere, just a female version, constantly manipulating and two-timing people, playing with their feelings, stringing them along, and receiving no real consequence for it. And when they're brought up with that consequence, it's, oh, move on. When are you gonna move on? Get over that. People are still talking about Casey. They were still talking even after Anaya apologized. They were like, I don't really care about him like that. Like, he doesn't even deserve blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't really care. I don't get it. He never once called her out her name besides that grandma comment that you guys see as so disrespectful, when she took it as in, like, she sleeps a lot. Like, she sleeps early. She said that during movie night. If y'all didn't catch that, watch that again. They both, like, called each other, like, nicknames like that. I don't think it was solely because he didn't get some before they went to sleep at night. And when Casey and TT came back from Casa, immediately it was, shut the fuck up, you're a bitch, fuck you, you're not shit, whatever. I just don't get it. Like, one, she went off of time. Two, Casey wasn't even her type to begin with. She mainly wanted Sincere, and then she was talking about how Corbin was like her type, light skin, light eyes, tall, blah 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 blah. So I don't understand why she didn't explore that, but she stayed safe because they had more time. Therefore, that equals a stronger connection or more trust or whatever. Time does not equal a healthy relationship. It really doesn't. And especially when Soul came in, her being a light-skinned woman, she was very confident and sure of herself. Obviously, her and Casey didn't really explore like that, but Anaya constantly like pulling Casey away when he was talking to Soul, that just showed like she's tying him down to a connection that was supposed to be open, like they had discussed. And also, when he was exploring and stuff, she would get defensive, say, okay, I don't care, with an attitude, and then withhold like affection from him. That's low-key manipulative, low-key. And because he just got fed up with the fact that she wasn't holding her word, he's disrespectful. Also, another point that people bring up, him being quote-unquote childish and not being able to take things seriously. I think he does show like trauma responses and conflict where he does laugh. People nervously laugh, nervously smile, they get uncomfortable. That is something that people should be aware of. He seems aware of it, but he doesn't really correct it, which triggers Anaya as well. They just were not a good match. Like, it just created more conflict than resolution in their connection. So I don't understand, like, oh, the way that he moved in Casa. Sincere was literally saying, if we had more time, it would have been you. But, oh, I know where home is at, so I'm gonna just go back to Melanie. And therefore, he was not called disrespectful, called out of his name, because he came back alone. But movie night, that's when y'all lock in, not the other times he has shown disrespect towards Melanie. Nah, it was just because he came back with nobody else. Sincere has been disrespectful the whole time, outside of Casa. I don't understand the logic. And obviously I know people do give him his like criticisms, but it's nowhere near the amount Casey has received at all. And also the producers pushing this narrative and other brands pushing this narrative is making dark-skinned black men look a kind of way. And when so many other black women are getting defensive about how black men or men shouldn't be watching Love Island and give their takes and blah 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 blah, that just really perpetuates the same issue that black men have been dealing with for their whole lives, where they just aren't safe in any sort of space. That's why you see a lot of them have toxic behaviors and stuff like that, because they weren't nurtured to grow from their mistakes. They were chastised for them instead. Like, I'm so confused. Like, I was rooting for the black people until they started like attacking each other, and all of a sudden the masculinization of Titi, because she wasn't finna allow Casey to just be dogpiled on, and therefore she's the man in the relationship. Therefore, she's ghetto. Therefore, she's crazy. And Casey becomes emasculated, as many black men are already, and as many black women are masculinized instead. Are we getting the point here, y'all? Like, and Anaya saying this isn't Bad Girls Club, that's the only reason why I think she has internalized racism, because why would you say that to another black woman who's just trying to defend her name, her man's name, after you guys are literally calling them out their name from jump? They couldn't even speak. Also, like, Kenzie, the way that she would talk to Corbin, he said one disrespectful thing, and all of the microaggressions Kenzie said towards him totally went over everybody's head. He's Jamaican. People made fun of the way that he talked. She was like, oh, you speak so well? That's literally microaggression 101, dog. And also, same kind of white woman submissive rhetoric towards black men. She wanted to be chased like a gazelle, like a lion chasing a gazelle or whatever, constantly comparing him to some sort of big animal. The dehumanization of black men. Like, bro, I think a lot of people are missing the point and missing the really important details, because without those details, y'all just moving through this world with your eyes closed, because it's right in front of our faces. But yeah, it's just kind of disappointing to see how the reaction has been towards the one like black couple, Casey and TT. But you know, anyways, long tangents, I guess. Let me know if you stay for the end, I guess.